those magnificent men in a flying machine. They go up to the up, up, they go down to the up, down.
Right, so we're on the fuselage. So if I point out here, I've put this servo in there, the mini servo for the throttle, made its own little cage. I epoxy resined it in on the top of the metal neck thing, and then there's 2 screws holding it in to make sure that it's all secure. Okay, and tested it, and obviously on the end there I'll put a block on it so it doesn't fall out of the throttle, and that's all done nice. Okay, and obviously the servos are in for the rudder and elevator, and there's the poles. Okay, and then with the poles I use like baling wire, and then to make sure it's also out, I put a piece of normal super glue and spray with the activator, and that will never move. People use cotton, by all means use cotton if that's what you want. On the actual DB plans it says to use the tubing that you epoxy to the sides and that. Well, I don't like using that, so I prefer the old fashioned way. It suits me, but obviously with the plan, if you want to follow it to the plan, then do it. And obviously at the end, obviously you put your bits on, pin them in first, put your tail on, and that as a guide, you know, and sellotape your elevators on, a bit of tape. So you got them there as a guide, that way you can get your right length for your rods. That's that out of the way. And as you can see, right, we'll come to that now, that's the drive-by now. So you don't put this on until you've done the bottom bit. And the bottom bit, I'll turn it round. You can see now the bottom bit is you've made the tail rudder, the dragger. Right, now this is the bit that comes with the original kit. As you can see, it's quite feeble, but you're meant to put wrap a piece of SWG wire around it, form it and tie it round. But when you look at the real plane, first of all it says it glues it to the bottom. That's it, there's no bit inside, it actually glues, hence why it's the right length. So I formulated my own with a nice piece of off-cut beech that I had for the struts of other planes. Made it a bit wider, looked at the real plane, the Shuttleworth plane, made it a bit wider and then made it longer so that inside, if I don't move it, if you pan in there please, camera lady, you can see it's white glued in the middle and super glued in the sides and sanded, so it's all nice and solid. And then obviously with the white glue at the bottom, white glue out in, clamp it like I did as you see on the bit. And now it's ready, that's all done, so it's now ready for the capping on the top. So we'll get that in. Once that's all glued in with white glue, nicely dyed, 10-minute glue. Oh yeah, somebody asked me, so I'll tell you now. I remember looking at other videos. So this is the glue I use, it's 10-minute, bonds in 10 minutes. Fantastic PVA. Best thing, you can get it from most DIY shops, hardware shops. Then put that on, clamp it nice, and then sand it all nice and smooth. And then leave it at that. Don't try and I don't recommend putting the tailplane on until you've got the wings, so you get it nice and straight with the wings. So don't do that yet. Okay, so that's that bit there. Okay, now next thing is if you look here, I've got this form round. What I've done is you don't tell your missus for God's sake, but get the kettle, boil it, and then put a weight on the lever to keep it boiling, and then you just steam it from the outside, hold it, don't burn your fingers, and it'll automatically go round. Then once you've got it nice like that, put some band on like you see, and leave it overnight if you can, or at least 6 hours, and that way it will hold its shape, not perfect like that, because as you can see, I've done it with this one, okay, and it will eventually, when it dries out, it'll go back, never flat, but it'll do enough, simply because then it makes it easier for when you come to glue it. By all means, if you really want to, steam it again lightly, you know, not too much because of the wet, but it'll be right before you glue it, okay? And as you can see, it will go on a lot easier than trying to do it from the kit as it is when it comes out of the box. It just makes it easier. The other thing I've done, builders probably say the weight issue, but I've put extra pieces in on top of the fuse, okay, and gently sand them slightly, well, basically this. I've just got time, just slightly, just give it a bevel across there like that. Okay, I mean, if you really want to be professional, use the finger file. You know, just give it a little edge on it so it doesn't stick out across the forms there. Okay, and just follow that all the way around. Okay, and obviously the other side and do it. Basically, you're going to glue this here. You white glue it with the 10-minute glue, or if you're really quick and you're quite happy with it, use 5-minute epoxy resin. if you can't wait till it's done. Obviously glue this and glue that and glue these. Alright, but I'd use white PVA glue, so it gives you time to play with it, because once it goes on, it's on. And that's, see, like in the previous video I said put an extra plate in. The reason that is because obviously when it goes on, it's there, it gives you that bit for the canopy for the pilots and stuff. Okay, so that'll be nicely done, slightly in. Okay, and that'll give you a chance to get it all right. Okay, that, and I might add with this piece, before you do anything with this, before you steam it or anything, put it on a nice piece of card and trace it out. Okay, trace it all out and cut it and use that as a template, because in future, if you ever want to make another one, right, and obviously you're not going to have the bits, if you want to make another one where you get any damage, this piece then will be on a piece of card as a template. And if you want to get a nice piece of, this is 0. I don't know, it's very thin ply, and then you can always buy a piece of ply and trace it out, Bob's your uncle, and it's going to guarantee it's going to be exactly the same as the one you put on here. So if you want to make another serious moth or a tiger moth or whatever, at least it's there as a template. Okay, now before you put this piece on that I showed you, okay, I would put this on first. That's my next job. I'm going to put it on first, get it all true, put it on, and then at the end here, the camera lady can see, I'm going to cut this back and sand it flat, so it's a bit of excess, so it gives you a chance to play with it. And then you put this piece on, okay, and sand it to shape. And as you can see, it's the same with this, always the same. The thing with this is, and people have argued this, but on the plan it shows you a cutout. There you go. On the inside, this is the cutout. You do what I showed you before with the carbon paper, put it underneath, tape over the top, draw it out, trace it, yeah, and then when you got it, you cut out it on a piece of card. And once the card's cut out, whatever you do, put this on first, then you put the former over. Don't do it when it's a flat piece, like, because it won't look right. Okay, if that makes sense. So I'll do that on another video because I'm absolutely not well. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, for now I would show you the way. I've done more on the wings, but I'll do that in another video because it's yeah. Okay, then. Right then. Cheerio.
Those magnificent men, those